Appreciate every fitness influencer online comes to you and says, the most effective way to drop body fat. But look, I've been able to get 81 people this level of transformation. So I'm not going to say this is the most effective. Although I have to say that for the YouTube algorithm in a title, I'm going to say this is what we do to get results like this. And obviously if you like it, you'll apply it into your own life. If you don't, you fucking leave some hate in the comments and bounce. I'm happy either way. So, the approach that we like to take, let's say you come to me and you are, for argument's sake, easy numbers, you're 20% body fat, you want to get to 10% body fat within a 12-week span. How would you do this? The very first thing we do is when we set your start point up, establish maintenance, which is done by photos, working out you are 20% body fat, scale weight, activity level, obviously gives us RMR, times the activity level, gives us our maintenance calories. Now, when we start in a dieting phase, our approach, because we want you to be athletes, not just starving human beings, is we sit just below it. So let's say your maintenance is 2,500. We're going to start you at around 2,300, 2,200 max. The reason for this is we want you to train hard in the gym. We want you to have a very good chance of at least retaining, but more likely building some muscle throughout this process, because you want to be able to train with enough food to get stronger session after session after session. And people think, oh, I'm in a cut, so I can't get stronger and I must be losing muscle. It's not the case. The only time you will find you cannot get stronger is right towards the very, very back end of the transformation. That's the only time you may find numbers slow down, but you'll be like a rep short on your flat press. That's as far as it gets, especially for you starting at 20% body fat with an all right amount of muscle and high body fat. You, I guarantee, and for most of my members, are able to progress the whole way through the transformation, continuously getting stronger. And the reason for this is you start with your food higher and you're more of a detrained individual anyway, so you're able to continuously get stronger. So you, first of all, get the myth out of your head that you're always going to be losing muscle when you're in a cut, because that's not the approach. And you're now going to start your calories just below maintenance. Now, why do I actually do this? For a few reasons. I touched on the first one, so you can train harder in the gym. Obviously, that one's important because if you have energy going into the gym, you'll train harder. If you train harder, you will be able to build and retain muscle tissue. You want to look good at the end, not just have lost weight. The second reason I start at that point is we have many tools, many options to pull as we go through this process. We've not shot our load too early, and now we've got nowhere to play with. A lot of you will go straight to 1,800 and you'll make great progress in the beginning. Great. For people that are 30% body fat, this can kind of work for a period of time. The problem is though, your body is a smart thing, your metabolism is a smart thing, and it will adapt to whatever you put it on. Most people have put their metabolism in the bin because they've either eaten too low calories or too low nutrients, i.e. high calorie diet, but like most of it is garbage and there's no actual nutrients. So your metabolism will adapt to whatever you put it on because it is smart and it doesn't want you to die. It's like when our ancestors lived in the wild many moons ago and they didn't know when they were going to get food. Therefore, it would have stored some body fat because it doesn't know like when it's going to get food. So it gets used to living off a little. A lot of you have done this to your own metabolism. We need to obviously fix this. So if we now get you eating more food, your body is now creating a demand for the food because you're training and also you're burning, but we're also getting you to eat a good amount as well. This is why we take this approach, because it essentially re-kicks what is a messed up metabolism for the most of you. And then when I start to pull this food down, I'm able to see a response. And that's the most important factor to actually getting a six-pack is being responsive to dieting. A lot of you aren't that responsive to dieting because you've done things in the past that are catastrophic and now your body just doesn't want to adapt to it. This is why we set food higher, which this may be a new concept to you, but that's the sole reason why we do this. The next thing, obviously, it can't just be food higher and expect fast progress. We need to still create the negative energy balance. I would prefer you to be a fit athlete than a starving child. So we will start you on cardio to begin with. The reason for this is I want you to run cardio each and every day, get fitter. So you're going to start on something nice and basic that you can do daily. Now, if you're 20% body fat, you're a little bit too heavy than what your natural frame would actually sit at. So we don't really want you going out, running, hitting the tarmac, because you'll just buckle your own joints. You're probably not that strong, and you're definitely not strong enough to be carrying an extra like 12 kilos. It's like the equivalent of when our soldiers joined the British Army. Obviously, I used to be a physical training instructor for the para, so I've seen it where people will join weak. You'll put the burden on their back, and because they're weak, they will get injured in either their hips, knees, or ankles because they're not used to carrying 15 kilos and running and hitting the floor. If you're carrying an extra 10 kilos and go out running and hitting the floor, the same process will happen. You'll get knee injuries, you'll get ankle injuries, and you'll just quit. So I need you to be able to do something that you can do daily. So we're talking start on a bike or an incline treadmill walk, progress that to a cross trainer. As you get fitter, progress that to maybe a Stairmaster if we need it. So start with cardio and also progress cardio when fat loss is not occurring. Keep food high for a long period of time. Now I said start below just below maintenance, keeping food in a good position, but I'm also saying keep your carbs nice and high as well. And then obviously if you sometimes get a dry mouth like I do when you're speaking, drink water. Okay, we're back in. So the reason we want to keep carbs high, specifically now we're looking at macros inside of the amount of food we've given you, is carbs are probably the most sacred macronutrient out of the three. Yes, you need protein to repair the muscle, but actually, if you're not training hard enough to give your body a reason to hold muscle, you need all the fucking protein in the world. It doesn't matter. If I'm able to press 40 kilos, you can only press 30. I'm going to still have more muscle even if I'm like hitting 70% of my protein target and you're over your protein target by like 120%. Because it's not the protein which is making you build muscle. It's the fact that you are giving the muscle a reason to respond to stimulus, and therefore it needs to stay on your bones. So the reason you're going to be able to get stronger is because you go into the gym with energy. You do this through having carbohydrates. So I'm not saying carbs are better than protein. You need both. Of course you do. But what I am saying is you do not want to just start getting trigger happy pulling at your carbs, because your numbers will fall in the gym and then your muscle will leave anyway, and you'll just be there with fucking a belly full of protein and no muscle. So that's the approach you want to take. When I do make changes, and let's come to this point, why do we make changes? You make a change when you're not seeing a drop off on the scale. In the beginning, just from starting the plan and like ironing out any bad habits you were doing, you're not drinking beer, you're not eating sugar, you're not like sleeping 4 hours a night, you're doing everything to get your body in a prime position. You're eating nutrient dense foods, you're moving, you'll just find you'll drop off quite nicely to begin with. The first few weeks are like the honeymoon period. You just drop off very little. You'll get to the point where things will slow down, and I determine slow down by any less than half a kilogram per week is all you dropped off that week, or you didn't drop at all. From there, you've got two options: you either pull your food or increase your cardio. I'd say if your cardio is low to begin with, push that, because you want to be fit, you want to enjoy like a healthy heart, and use that to actually drive fat loss. As you get to about 40 minutes, then you can look, right, actually, is more cardio going to be the answer, or am I actually going to just impact my routine? So at that point, then look to add or look to pull from food from then, take from the fats first, because you're going to get a lot out of a little. So if you pull 30 grams of dark chocolate, that's going to give you 180 calories out. 30 grams of dark chocolate is literally minimal. So that's why I take that approach to get that down. So I like to take this approach so that A, we keep you training well. We get you moving more so you're more of a fit athlete. You look fuller in the muscle for longer. Obviously, you will get flat eventually. And overall, the process is just more tolerable for you. Fat loss and getting shredded should not be easy at any point, no matter what method and approach you do, because if it is, you're probably not going fast enough. But this approach makes it more like you're able to hold muscle, get leaner, and actually enjoy the process going through. So that's the approach we take to get Gorilla Platoon standard transformations. Obviously, if you want us to take you through the process, there would be a link in the description. You can join us on the inside. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you tomorrow.